All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's public hearing on the proposed Mitchell Field Integrated Resort District. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Dorothy Gooseby. Here. Councilman Muscarella.
Here.
Councilwoman Missy Miller.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Councilman Schneider.
Here. Deputy Supervisor Gooseby, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the hearing?
Yes, Supervisor. On the public hearings, we have a resolution on the proposed enactment of Section 146.2 to be entitled MF-IRD, Mitchell Field Integrated Resort District of Article 13 of the Building Zone Ordinance of the Town of Hempstead.
Okay, I know a number of you have been here before. For any of you newbies here today, let me ask the town attorney to explain the process and the comment period for the town board hearing.
Thank you, Supervisor. The hearing will begin with a presentation by the tenant of the Coliseum site at both this portion of the hearing and the 7 p.m. portion of the hearing. Each speaker thereafter will have 3 minutes to make their comments. You could speak either this afternoon or this evening, but not both. This is one hearing split into an afternoon session and an evening session. Mr. Supervisor, I also would recommend that this board amend the draft zoning amendment at the outset to specify the proposed amendment would only apply to the parcel known as Nassau County Land and Tax Map, Section 44, Block F, lots 326, 351, 401, 402, 411, 412, 415, which is commonly known as the Coliseum and Marriott properties.
Okay, can I have a motion to for that effect in relation to the proposed amendment?
So moved.
Moved, second?
Second.
Dennis Dunn is seconded. Madam, please call the roll on the motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Mr. Town Attorney. Counsel for the proposal, if you please go to the back mic, identify yourself, name and address, location, and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Members of the Town Board, my name is Daniel Baker from the law firm Greenberg Traurig, address at 900 Stewart Avenue, Garden City, New York, 11530. I'm appearing this afternoon on behalf of the petitioner applicants, LVS NY Holdco 2 LLC and LVS NY Holdco LLC, both of which are wholly owned subsidiaries of Las Vegas Sands Corporation, who have, together with Nassau County, made application to the Town Board for a proposed redevelopment of the Nassau Coliseum property. Both LVS NY entities will at times today be referred to as Sands or LVS by me and our team. LVS NY Holdco 2 is the current leaseholder of property at Mitchell Field in Uniondale, commonly known as the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum property. It's known on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 44, Block F, lots 351, 411, 412, and 415. LVS NY Holdco has an agreement to purchase the leasehold and improvements of the Long Island Marriott from the current leaseholder, Royal Blue Hospitality Group, LLC. That property is known on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 44, Block F, lots 326, 401, and 402. Both properties are owned by the County of Nassau, as are most properties within the Mitchell Field area. Both the county and Royal Blue Hospitality have consented to the Sands application. Today's hearing is for the enactment of the proposed MFIRD Mitchell Field Integrated Resort District as part of Article 13 Planned Development Districts at Mitchell Field of the Town of Hempstead Building Zone Ordinance, or the BZO. The MFIRD has been proposed by Sands to replace the existing MFM Mitchell Field Mixed-Use District at the Coliseum and Marriott properties, as that district relates to the subject properties. In addition to the enactment of the MFIRD, Sands is also requesting that the town board approve a change of zone for the subject properties to the MFIRD and a conceptual master plan, or CMP, for an integrated resort. I am joined today by members of the project consultant team, including Joel Richardson from H2M Architects and Engineers, and Patrick Lenahan and Teresa Elkowitz from VHB Engineering, Surveying, Landscape Architecture, and Geology PC. I will ask Mr. Richardson and Mr. Lenahan to provide testimony later in our presentation as to site engineering and traffic and parking engineering. The proposed MFIRD was initially created to allow Sands to develop an integrated resort after obtaining a gaming license from New York State. The MFIRD was purposely crafted to provide for future development of the Coliseum site in the event a gaming license is not issued, in order to provide realistic uses to redevelop the languishing Coliseum and create opportunities for economic development long needed in the area. On April 23, 2025, Sands announced that it would no longer be pursuing a bid to secure a gaming license from New York State. The company also announced that it was in discussions with a third party with an interest in securing the site and assuming Sands' bid for a license. These discussions are still ongoing, and the company is hopeful that a deal can be reached. However, the company also recognizes that there is little time left before applications are due to the state on June 27th, and it may not be possible. Nevertheless, to provide maximum optionality for both the town and county and speed the path towards redevelopment of the site, with a casino or not, Sands has elected to continue to expend resources and pursue the rezoning of the site. Approximately 2 years ago, Sands negotiated with the county to enter into a lease to redevelop the Coliseum property. At the same time, in July 2023, Sands made application to the town for similar relief to what it seeks now. Opposition by Hofstra University at that time led to procedural court challenges of the county lease process that resulted in the court directing that the SECRA process, that's State Environmental Quality Review Act, originally handled by the town as part of Sands' application to the town in 2023, be conducted by the county legislature as lead agency in advance of its lease process. As a result, Sands quickly moved to secure its leasehold interest with the county by entering into a 42-year operational lease to maintain day-to-day operations of the Coliseum, and is separately finalizing a proposed 99-year lease to provide for future uses, including an integrated resort and alternative options. This lease will be entered into upon the conclusion of the SECRA process at the county legislature. The county-led SECRA process began with a submission to the county of a draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS, which was, along with public comments, reviewed by the county and its consultants, and in turn led to the county filing a final environmental impact statement, or FEIS, on May 13, 2025. We are awaiting the issuance by the county of a SECRA findings statement in the near future, which would complete the SECRA process and allow, among other things, the town to adopt its own finding statement and ultimately approve the application brought by Sands to enact the MFIRD, change the property zoning, and approve a CMP. The DEIS and FEIS, copies of which are in the meeting room today and have both been submitted previously to the town as an involved agency, have been noted to be the most comprehensive documents of this type ever produced for a project on Long Island. At this time, Mr. Supervisor, I would ask that the DEIS and FEIS be incorporated into the record. We have copies in these boxes, but hard copies and flash drives have been submitted to the town clerk previously. So whichever is preferred, we can leave these for the town board.
We'll take it both ways. Thank you.
The analyses conducted in the DEIS and FEIS demonstrate that the proposed redevelopment of the property into an integrated resort aligns with the recommendations and goals of the relevant land use plans, as it would serve as a regional hub concentrating a variety of uses, including entertainment, lodging, and recreation in a central location, attracting a wide range of visitors from the tri-state region and beyond. According to the BZO, the entirety of the subject property is situated within the Mitchell Field Mixed Use, or MFM, zoning district, which is part of the overall PDD at Mitchell Field. The MFM zoning district is limited to only the subject properties and the outparcel containing the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Facility, which is not the subject of this application. When evaluating zoning consistency of the proposed integrated resort with the BZO, the DEIS explained that the proposed development concept would require the establishment of a new zoning district. Accordingly, the proposed action consists of three components related to zoning: the creation of a new zoning district, rezoning of the tax parcels that comprise the subject property into that MFIRD zoning district, and development of the integrated resort in accordance with the proposed MFIRD. The proposed MFIRD furthers the intent and goals of Article 13 of the BZO, the Planned Development Districts at Mitchell Field, by providing a new zoning district that promotes the development of innovative, attractive sites that will provide benefits to the town and larger region. As indicated in the legislative purposes of the PDD, there was an understanding of the dual responsibilities associated with Mitchell Field. That's county ownership and town zoning, and community services and local tax structure. The proposed integrated resort would transform the existing Coliseum property, currently a sea of asphalt parking areas with an underutilized arena, into a mixed entertainment destination that fosters a sense of community and connectivity within its surroundings and draws people together. To avoid and minimize potential adverse impacts to land use, zoning, and community character, the following measures shall be employed for the proposed integrated resort. The development shall incorporate a significant amount of new green and open space on the site through the introduction of an outdoor plaza, a veterans memorial, and substantial landscaping throughout the subject property. The podium design shall feature a series of landscape terraces and setbacks that gradually step down the massing of the building. These terraces and setbacks would serve to break up the building scale while creating a series of visual connections between different levels of the podium. The terracing of the building mass also allows for a transition between the podium and the hotel towers above, so there is not one solid wall of buildings. The proposed project shall incorporate a comprehensive landscaping plan that will provide visual relief from the proposed buildings, partially screening and softening them with landscaping along the perimeter of the property and the internal roadways. The proposed surface parking area shall be surrounded by landscaping to help screen them from the surrounding roadways and neighborhoods. Landscaped islands within these areas shall also be provided where feasible to minimize the visual impact and help screen the vehicles parked within the surface parking areas. The proposed MFIRD is much like the existing MFM district, with the obvious difference being the specific inclusion of a gaming facility as a permitted use. As is necessitated by a prospective integrated resort with gaming facilities, hotels, and other ancillary uses, the MFIRD also requires change from the existing height restrictions of the MFM to allow for hotels to have a maximum height of 280 feet, non-residential and mixed-use buildings at 100 feet, residential buildings at 80 feet, parking structures associated with a gaming facility at 95 feet, and any other parking structures at 40 feet. Other changes from the MFM to the MFIRD were designed to help facilitate the development of an integrated resort, but also help foster a realistic and modern alternative plan in the event a gaming license is not issued, all while replacing a tired, nearly obsolete site with future redevelopment that will encourage economic growth, preserve, protect, and enhance the environmental, economic, and human resources of the town, promote innovative and quality site and architectural design, and create an attractive physical environment that provides daily amenities and services for the use and enjoyment of working, resident, and visiting populations. As Mr. Richardson will take you through momentarily, the integrated resort is presented in a proposed full build conceptual master plan. In addition to this full build CMP, which is subject to changes in market conditions, SANS has also designed a smaller scaled-down plan that would be built as a Phase 1 integrated resort with gaming facilities that would have considerably less overall square footage, a smaller luxury hotel and spa, smaller entertainment venue, and less associated restaurants and other spaces, as well as less required parking. This plan was analyzed in the FEIS and was the result of escalating costs and market factors. While impacts such as water use and traffic generation would be much less, Sands has committed to providing the full build mitigation, including all traffic mitigation, during the Phase 1 build-out. Mr. Lanahan will then discuss the traffic, parking, and transportation elements related to the CMP and the mitigation that was studied in the DEIS and the FEIS, and which Sands has agreed to perform. Finally, the DEIS and FEIS evaluated, and the proposed lease with the county requires an alternative plan in the event the gaming license is not awarded. This plan would provide for a future mixed-use development. These uses would include a luxury hotel, up to 500 residents, which is the same as the current MFM district, an entertainment and meeting venue, and other uses permitted and consistent with the proposed MFIRD. That is the true purpose of the MFIRD, which is before the board today, to provide for maximum optionality for the redevelopment of the Coliseum property and provide for immediate and future economic growth through a vibrant new use of the site, all resulting in the creation of economic opportunity and growth within the town and beyond during construction and after ultimate redevelopment. At this time, I would like to call Joel Richardson, and he can take you through the proposed full build CMP.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor and members of the Town Board. My name is Joel Richardson. I'm a professional engineer with H2M Architects and Engineers with offices located at 538 Broad Hollow Road in Melville, New York, 11747. I'm the civil engineer for the project. My firm prepared the conceptual master plan for the proposed integrated resort. We also evaluated water, sanitary, and stormwater infrastructure servicing the subject property, and have proposed improvements to those systems to accommodate the redevelopment of the project site. This afternoon, I will present an overview of the CMP and discuss what steps have been taken with the evaluation of infrastructure systems servicing the project site. The CMP illustrates the proposed full build-out of the Nassau Coliseum property in conformance with the proposed Mitchell Field Integrated Resort District. The CMP illustrates the redevelopment of all of the Nassau Coliseum property consisting of 4 tax parcels, totaling 71.6 acres, and the CMP also illustrates the partial redevelopment of the existing paved parking lots at the southern extent of the 3 tax parcels that constitute the existing Marriott Hotel property. Considering both the Coliseum tax parcels and the Marriott parcels, the total area of the CMP is 86.3 acres. It should be noted that the only modifications to the proposed Marriott property are to the southmost paved parking areas to integrate the site access and circulation with the proposed redevelopment of the Coliseum properties. The CMP illustrates the proposed integrated resort and gaming facility building covering 1.2 million square feet or 28.3 acres of the project site, and a parking structure covering an additional 267,000 square feet of the project site. The largest portion of the facility, which occupies the area immediately surrounding the existing Coliseum and extends south to Hempstead Turnpike, consists of a gaming facility. That's the area indicated in beige on the CMP that's on the screen. 2 hotel towers indicated in blue, with a total of 1,670 rooms. A 4,500 seat entertainment venue. That's the darker purple area in the southeast corner of the building. Meeting and conference space, the magenta area on the site plan. Retail space, restaurant space, as well as various support areas and MEP facilities. There are 2 structured parking garages incorporated into this building also. Those are the 2 gray areas as part of the larger building. Rooftop green space and a pool spa are also indicated for this building, and that's the gold space in the middle of the building. The structured parking garage, Garage A, is included at the northern end of the property. the east portion of which would be used for a new central utility plant to serve the proposed integrated resort. Garage A also houses a basement level bus depot and loading docks connected to the integrated resort's basement level. The garage provides a pedestrian bridge connection to the gaming facility. The proposed buildings maintain setbacks in accordance with the MFIRD, with the minimal setback being 46.8 feet from the face of the proposed Garage A to Earl Ovington Boulevard. The height of the roof of the hotel towers is proposed to be 278 feet, with parapet and mechanical equipment extending above as permitted under the MFIRD. All other structures, the integrated resort building and the parking structures, will have a maximum height of 95 feet, inclusive of all mechanical equipment and rooftop photovoltaic panels. New surface parking lots are proposed in the southwest, southeast, and northeast corners of the development area. The CMP calculates a parking requirement of 12,411 spaces, which is being satisfied with 2,487 surface parking spaces and another 9,963 parking spaces in structured garages for a total of 12,450 spaces. The proposed integrated resort building has a floor area of over 3.7 million square feet, exclusive of basement areas and parking structures. This represents a floor to area ratio of 1.0. A 1,500 square foot public plaza is indicated for the site area between the proposed integrated resort and the existing Marriott. This area would be landscaped and potentially programmed for various events in addition to passive public use. Landscape buffers are indicated along Hempstead Turnpike, Earl Ovington Boulevard, and Charles Lindbergh Boulevard. In addition to new vegetation, landscape berms are proposed to help mitigate the visual impacts from the proposed integrated resort. Enhanced setbacks of more than 50 feet for the surface parking area in the southwest corner of the project site are provided along Hempstead Turnpike across from existing residential communities. The CMP also indicates maintaining the existing pedestrian and bicycle path around the perimeter of the project site, with connections to the proposed access ways for the integrated resort. Given the existing site is almost entirely covered with pavements in the Coliseum building, the redevelopment of the proposed with the CMP would result in a net reduction of 7.5 acres of impervious surfaces. Vehicular site access is proposed from Hempstead Turnpike, Earl Ovington Boulevard, and Charles Lindbergh Boulevard, utilizing curb cuts and points of ingress and egress to the project site, existing points of ingress and egress to the project site. The points of access would be modified to accommodate the formalized roadway network indicated on the CMP and based on anticipated traffic needs. With regard to water, the proposed development will be served by the Town of Hempstead's Water Department's Uniondale Water District. A new 1.98 million gallon per day water supply well is proposed to increase the Uniondale Water District available capacity to provide the redevelopment with potable water and mitigate increased water demand from the proposed integrated resort. This new well would provide a benefit to the greater community by increasing the resilience of the public water supply system within the Uniondale Water District. Total anticipated water usage is assumed to match sewage generation, estimated at approximately 810,000 gallons per day, utilizing Nassau County DPW minimum design sewage flow rates. This represents an increase of approximately 580,000 gallons per day compared to our historic estimated design flow of approximately 230,000 gallons per day for the Coliseum building. Additional water demand for landscape irrigation is estimated to be 62,000 gallons per day. The net increase in daily peak water demand, the domestic plus the irrigation water, for the proposed development is estimated to be 0.64 million gallons per day. H2M has conducted a test well program for a potential new water supply well proposed to be located in the Nassau County-owned right-of-way at the intersection of Charles Lindbergh and Earl Ovington Boulevards. An exploratory boring drilled to a depth of approximately 610 feet with cores and samples collected to evaluate the geology best suited to support the water supply well has been drilled. The test well program was concluded in March 2025. The preliminary water quality results from the test well indicated excellent water quality for this area. H2M has held multiple consultation meetings with the Town of Hempstead's Water Department with respect to water supply, the first being on February 16th, 2023, and the most recent being on April 24th, 2025. H2M has also consulted with Nassau County Department of Public Works with respect to water supply on February 2nd, 2024. Regarding sanitary disposal, the anticipated sanitary discharge from the integrated resort would be 810,000 gallons per day. Sanitary flow from the site is directed to the Cedar Creek Water Pollution Control Plant, which currently treats approximately 63.83 million gallons per day, operating at approximately 88.7% of its permitted capacity of 72 million gallons per day. During a meeting with H2M on February 24th, 2023, Nassau County DPW representatives indicated that not foresee any treatment plant capacity concerns related to the redevelopment of the subject property. During this meeting, Nassau County DPW indicated issuance of a letter of sewer availability would be contingent upon: 1, confirmation that portions of an existing 36-inch sanitary main will be relocated to maintain accessibility for maintenance, and 2, submission of a flow monitoring report quantifying existing sanitary flows upstream and downstream of the subject property in order to confirm conveyance capacity. The CMP does anticipate relocation of the existing 36-inch main within new access roads to be constructed between the Marriott Hotel and the proposed integrated resort. H2M conducted flow monitoring between April 19th and June 1st, 2023, totaling 43 days, measuring sanitary flows upstream and downstream of the proposed facility. H2M submitted a request letter for sanitary sewer availability to Nassau County DPW on April 30th, 2024, along with a sanitary flow monitoring and capacity evaluation report. In response, Nassau County DPW issued a letter of sanitary sewer availability on May 10th, 2024. Finally, with regard to drainage, the subject property is located within a 269-acre overall watershed area, which is tributary to an existing Nassau County stormwater infiltration basin, basin number 537, located just south of Hempstead Turnpike on the west side of Glen Curtis Boulevard. There is an extensive existing storm drainage collection system traversing the subject property that discharges from the site via drain pipes under Hempstead Turnpike, opposite Glen Curtis Boulevard, which conveys stormwater to the Nassau County Basin number 537. Based on information obtained from Nassau County DPW, basin number 537 was designed to store runoff from a 5-inch rain event from its tributary area. The county basin is also equipped with emergency overflow to the Meadowbrook. The stormwater management practices to be implemented with the proposed integrated resort will include: 1, reducing the total impervious surfaces on the subject property. As previously stated, the proposed redevelopment would result in a 7.5 acre reduction of impervious area. 2, reducing stormwater runoff by increasing local infiltration through the installation of new dry wells located on the subject property, with appropriately designed pre-treatment systems, including catch basin inserts and hydrodynamic separators, which will remove pollutants, including sediment, trash, debris, oil, and grease from stormwater runoff. 3, continued connection to Nassau County Recharge Basin number 537. 4, preparation of a stormwater pollution prevention plan. And 5, measures and practices to decrease water use, such as water-saving plumbing fixtures and rainwater harvesting systems and rainwater recovery systems that could be used for irrigation of landscaped areas. H2M consulted with Nassau County DPW and submitted a summary of the planned approach to stormwater management for the proposed development. Nassau County DPW offered a memorandum of understanding dated April 3rd, 2024, stating that the area proposed for redevelopment is tributary to Nassau County Recharge Basin number 537, which was designed to accommodate storage volume based on a 5-inch rainfall event with the availability of overflow to another positive system. Nassau County DPW acknowledged no objections to the design intent and methodology offered by H2M's outline of the proposed stormwater management systems for the redevelopment project. With that, I will turn the presentation over to our traffic engineer.
Thank you, Joel. Good afternoon, Supervisor Clavin, members of the town board. My name is Pat Lenahan. I am the Director of Transportation at VHB's Hauppauge offices, 100 Motor Parkway in Hauppauge. As part of the environmental review process for the project, VHB has performed a very expansive and very comprehensive traffic impact study. This study followed the final scope and was included in the DEIS, as was mentioned, which was reviewed by the public, involved agencies, and interested agencies. The FEIS recently filed, responded to questions and concerns on the TIS that folks and agencies had with the traffic study in the DEIS. In responding to those comments, we have met with town consultants, county consultants, and the New York State Department of Transportation regarding the traffic study. Slide, please. Okay. The study area is very expansive, 66 intersections on surface streets in 13 different communities. The study also looked at the Meadowbrook State Parkway from the Northern State Parkway to Sunrise Highway, and sections of the Northern State Parkway and Southern State Parkway. Traffic counts were performed on the parkway system at a total of 114 locations. So we have 66 intersection locations and 114 locations for a total of about 180 traffic count locations. The project site, as we are aware, is located in a heavily developed area of Nassau. Given the density of employment centers, other commercial, retail, and residential in the area, we see, of course, high traffic volumes in the area on a daily basis. This site did, however, support the operation of the Coliseum as a sports and entertainment venue that saw large crowds and the associated traffic on a regular basis. Of course, this regular basis has died down to quite a bit and dropped off significantly. But the roadways around the site were designed to accommodate the arrival and departure of traffic at these events. Hempstead Turnpike, Charles Lindbergh Boulevard, Earl Ovington, these are major arterials with regards to their capacity. VHB's study looked at the potential traffic impacts of the operation of the integrated resort and followed the final scope for the DEIS. I think council alluded to it, just to reinforce, this is the largest traffic study that we have ever been involved with. And I think it's likely the largest traffic study that's ever been performed on Long Island. Our study did, as you would expect, identify impacts, and we've developed a robust mitigation plan, robust mitigation package in response to those impacts. The TIS also evaluates and discusses transportation demand management commitments associated with the project to reduce and manage travel to and from the site. These include Transportation Management Association, a transportation coordinator, pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure, Long Island Railroad shuttles to the Hempstead Station and Rosa Parks Transit Center, coach shuttles, and parking policies. Slide, please. The result of this effort is the development of a mitigation package that we are recommending be put in place. The mitigation package carries a cost estimate in excess of $100 million. The DOT has reviewed this and sent a letter to the Nassau County Legislature confirming their concurrence with the mitigation, and it is located in Appendix 2.6-1 of the FEIS. This overall graphic represents locations where we found that mitigation was warranted to improve conditions based on the combination of existing conditions and site volumes, and in some cases, very poor existing conditions. All of the signals around the site, with the exception of the Memorial Sloan Kettering entrance, we expect to completely reconstruct to the latest standards, including pedestrian infrastructure, which in working with the area system of multi-use paths will provide safe and efficient pedestrian and bicycle access for the community. Where we have improvements at other locations, the triangles on the graphic, this is not just signal timing changes, which do improve operations, but we expect to upgrade older signal equipment such as controllers and detection equipment to provide better, more traffic responsive operations and traffic service as well. The most significant mitigation we have identified is on the Meadowbrook State Parkway and represents I believe, the first significant capacity improvement on the parkway since the construction of the CD road system a couple of decades ago. And I will get into that in some detail in a bit. Slide, please. Most of the surface street mitigation is located close to the site, as you would expect, as this is where site traffic is most concentrated. Improvements at most locations and a new signalized access point. The next few slides show the perimeter in more detail. Slide, please. Hempstead Turnpike at Glen Curtis and the site's entrance. At this location, we are making changes to the southbound exit from the resort. We are making some changes northbound on Glen Curtis Boulevard to add capacity there. And a recurring theme on most of these intersections, currently there's a westbound channelized right turn lane from the turnpike into the site where traffic does not stop at the traffic signal. We made a concerted effort for pedestrian safety to pull those free right turns into the traffic signal so that pedestrians can cross the street without an issue. Slide, please. Okay, Hempstead Turnpike at Earl Ovington, just to the west. We're going clockwise. On the southbound approach here, we are widening the intersection approach by a lane and reapportioning the intersection to add capacity. Next, please. Earl Ovington Boulevard at Charles Lindbergh, opposite the northwest entrance to the site. We are adding an additional eastbound lane. You'll see there's 3 left turn lanes there now. We've modified the right turn lane out of the site for pedestrian safety again. And we only need 1 left turn out of the site at this point. Currently, there are 2. Another thing you'll notice is there is a second southbound left turn lane on Earl Ovington Boulevard. That's to accommodate some U-turns that are happening there now, mainly due to the Omni and some from Nassau Community, which I will actually touch on in a second. Slide, please. Thank you. So up at the northwest corner of the site, Charles Lindbergh at Earl Ovington. On the north side of the page is the Nassau Community College entrance. And you'll see there's major changes here. The median on Charles Lindbergh Boulevard has been narrowed. The westbound to eastbound double lane U-turn slot has been removed. We now have the ability to come out of Nassau Community College and make a direct left turn from this location and head to the Meadowbrook Parkway and points east. Whereas in the past, folks that came out of here either had to go all the way around the horn on Charles Lindbergh Boulevard or go to the south and make that U-turn that I mentioned a moment ago. So what this does in its entirety is it tightens up the intersection quite a bit. There's a very sweeping northbound to eastbound double lane. It's not even a turn lane. It's more of a ramp on the northwest corner of the property. And that's going to tighten that up. It's going to pull it into the control of the traffic signal. It's going to slow everybody down, and it's really going to improve pedestrian safety. Next, please. So now we're on Charles Lindbergh Boulevard, about central to the site, and here we are proposing a new major entrance and exit to the site. We have a new signal. We're having rights in and out of Charles Lindbergh Boulevard and lefts in from Charles Lindbergh Boulevard. We will not allow lefts out here. It simplifies the operation of the signal, and most of the folks who will find their way up here on exit are heading towards the Parkway. There will be additional pedestrian accommodations here that are not there now. And you can see the gentleman from H2M, Joel, mentioned the bus and truck entrance and exit into Garage A. You can see that on the south side of the page. Slide, please. This is the northern end of James Doolittle Boulevard. If you're familiar with it, it's set up to handle large inflows and outflows of Coliseum event traffic, less instantaneously when, let's say, a concert gets out or a hockey game ends. And it's a mass of uncontrolled lanes. We will tighten this up, put in a splitter island, and we'll have one right turn lane in and one right turn lane out here. And that will, again, help pedestrians a great deal rather than the mass of lanes moving in and out. Slide, please. So as we shift focus to the Parkway, on the Meadowbrook State Parkway north of the site is where the majority of our traffic will go and where we found some very poor existing conditions. A proposal here is to add an existing lane in each direction, northbound starting from just north of the Old Country Road Bridge and southbound, and that northbound lane from the Old Country Bridge will proceed onto the Northern State Parkway eastbound as a 2-lane entrance ramp. Southbound, currently there is a 4-lane to 3-lane lane drop that occurs as you come off the Parkway to go southbound, come off the Northern State Parkway to go southbound on the Meadowbrook State Parkway. We will extend that lane south to the exit at Zeckendorf Boulevard. And what that will also cause is the widening or replacement of 3 bridges. The most northern bridge, where the Parkway goes over Westbury Avenue, we will widen that bridge to accommodate 1 additional lane in each direction. The Long Island Railroad Bridge, which goes over the Parkway, will have to be replaced. And then the Old Country Road Bridge, which has an additional southbound lane, which will go under it, will also have to be replaced. And one of the things that SANS has committed to with regard to the Old Country Road Bridge, there's concerns regarding traffic conditions on Old Country Road itself. And what we will do is when that bridge replacement is designed, we will look at the widths and ramp termini on Old Country Road itself and clean that up and provide an improvement as best we can. Next. Now we've gone a little bit south on the Parkway. The site is on this graphic in purple. So closer to the site, our main access roadways back and forth from the Parkway will be Charles Lindbergh Boulevard and Hempstead Turnpike. And at each of those interchanges with the Meadowbrook State Parkway, we will be providing improvements from the eastbound to southbound direction. On Charles Lindbergh Boulevard, the eastbound ramp to the southbound Parkway, it's a 2-lane ramp. That 2-lane section will be extended several hundred feet, and the acceleration lane onto the southbound Meadowbrook State Parkway will be extended as well to give folks an easier time of merging onto the Parkway. Similarly, at Hempstead Turnpike, there is no deceleration lane eastbound in front of RXR Plaza as you approach the Parkway. We will build an eastbound deceleration lane there to get folks that want to go in the Parkway off into the southbound Meadowbrook Parkway off Hempstead Turnpike. And again, when you reach the southbound Parkway, we will make the acceleration lane to the Parkway longer. Finally, at the south end, further south on the Parkway, approaching the Southern State Parkway, a southbound to westbound deceleration lane. This was not identified in the DEIS, but in meeting with the DOT, they had asked for an improvement at this location, and the applicant has committed to doing this. There will be a deceleration lane southbound to the westbound Southern State Parkway. Currently, there is none. Okay. In addition to the mitigation identified in the traffic study, based on coordination with the DOT, the town, and the community, SANS has committed to perform additional improvements in the project area. These include, for the New York State Department of Transportation, I just mentioned the southbound deceleration lane at the Southern State Parkway. In addition, the installation of a traffic signal at a DOT maintenance facility on Stewart Avenue, and the installation of a traffic signal at the East Meadow State Police Barracks on Merrick Avenue, opposite the Eisenhower Park entrance. So that has the potential to help out the state police and the park patrons as well. Per discussion with the town of Hempstead, again, I already mentioned the Old Country Road Bridge, and we're going to take not just a look at the parkway under the bridge, but Old Country Road itself to improve conditions up on the bridge. Based on discussions between SANS and the community leaders of Uniondale, SANS has agreed also to provide streetscape improvements along Uniondale Avenue from Hempstead Turnpike to Front Street, Uniondale Avenue traffic calming and safety improvements from Hempstead Turnpike south to Nassau Road, and traffic signal improvements at Uniondale Avenue at Front Street and Uniondale Avenue at Jerusalem Avenue, as well as traffic signal improvements at Uniondale Avenue and Nassau Road, subject to Nassau County Department of Public Works approval. And thank you for your time. That is the end of my formal presentation.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. That concludes our formal presentation on the enactment of the proposed MFIRD. We are certainly welcoming any questions, comments that we might hear later on, and we're here to answer anything that we need to.
Yeah, obviously, Mr. Baker, we have a number of residents and interested parties that I would ask you to listen to their questions and to respond later on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of people that are here today to sort of move this process along in a very positive fashion. When I call one name, I'm going to ask you to go to the mic in the back. When you go there, give your name and address. Then I'm going to call a speaker on deck to keep the process going and ask you to go to the other side. We'll kind of go back and forward to keep it moving along nicely for everybody. Our first speaker today is John Durso, and on deck is Ed Finneran. Ed, I'm going to have you. Yep, you're on deck. Afternoon, Mr. Durso. If you give your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Supervisor. My name is John Durso, 390 Rabro Drive, Hopog. I'm the president of Long Island Federation of Labor, representing some 160 unions and just shy of 300,000 union members here on Long Island. I just want to say thank you for having this hearing, and thank you for this very educational presentation. Stimulating, I have to tell you. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. So I'm here today speaking on this because updating the zoning for this site is critical for our economic development here, not just in Nassau, but for Long Island. This is an opportunity that we've waited for 2 decades. We need to move this site forward. We need to update this zoning. This is talking about jobs, good union jobs, work, careers, the workforce development. This is nothing to do with anything other than the development, the economic development of this site for the residents, for our young people. We have worked for decades to try to keep our young people here. This represents an opportunity for people to have careers and good jobs. That's what we're about. The future here on Long Island, to keep our young people here. And we appreciate you taking the time to look at this and understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about the need for a future, a need to update and do things that we want for our children, for our grandchildren, for all of us here, to be able to stay, those of us who are of the maybe a little elderly or seasoned, as I like to say, we want to be able to stay here, but we'd like to have our children and grandchildren stay here too. This represents that opportunity for all of us. Good work, good union jobs, and good careers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Durso. Okay. Thank you very much. Next, I have Ed Finnan, and on deck, we're going to have Steve Ralston on deck on this side, please.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Mr. Mayor, if you give your name and address for the record.
Certainly. It's Ed Finneran, Mayor of Garden City. Thank you for giving us this opportunity today to share with you our thoughts which I assume are well known. I remember speaking before you over at the Marriott about 1.5 years ago, and things haven't changed. In fact, I think they've gotten a lot better since the Sands seems to be vacating the island, which is extraordinary to me, gentlemen, because they, and ladies, they have spent an extraordinary amount of money, probably in upwards of $400 million, to position themselves to build this casino, and they are gone. And in fact, they're very well paid and impressive and high reputation talent here today, both on the law and on the environment and traffic, speak to what their commitment was. So where do we go from here? Well, I stand here on behalf of the vast majority of Garden City residents who are viscerally against any kind of casino development at the Coliseum grounds. And we reiterate the well-known factors of why our board, again, unanimously for the 4th straight year, voted to oppose this development. It's the massive negative impact on our quality of life, increased traffic, abnormally high water usage, crime, etc. We are not, and I have said this numerous times, we are not against the unions, we are not against good jobs, we are against changing the character of our community. So what is the philosophy? What is the I don't know if it's the dominant philosophy behind rezoning, but I would think there are a few things that you should think about. Improving the character of the land, literally the land. Enhance property values of the surrounding area. Limit projects in an effort to protect the environment. I bet that's something that would be considered. And then, most importantly, you would want to allow change that is compatible to its environment. Okay, what's compatible with now I think, according to the DEIS or the FEIS, a $7.5 billion project where you have 10 to 15,000 college students, you have 25 high school students, and then you have extraordinary communities in the surrounding area. I would say to you, ladies and gentlemen, the IDA in this county has failed us by not coming up with a project there that we can be proud of. Most importantly, I ask you, if you're considering this zoning change, who's the sponsor? With the Sands abandoning this opportunity, why are we here today? So the board can just vote willy-nilly to approve casino activity in the midst of those thousands of students. Further, what casino company has the guts to step into the Sands, an incredibly sophisticated gaming company? I'll finish in 15 seconds.
Mayor, I have to keep it firm. Any additional comment, of course, will be, you can submit, Mr. Mayor, and we will make it part of the record. And everybody should know that any of you hit the 3-minute timer. If you go over, please ask you to follow it up. It will be written. It will be made part of the record, and I appreciate it. I will also say, and I know, look, folks, there are passionate people on both sides of the aisle in this. You just cost them 12 seconds of time because you clapped. So I'd say, look, I get it. Give people the opportunity, but, for it, against it, whatever you may be, when we do the cheering, you're interrupting, you're taking away the speaking time of everybody that came here today. So just to move it along, I see we have Ed, you're back there. Steve Ralston, I'm sorry, Steve. And then on deck, I'm going to have Judy Courtney. See if you come on up and give your name and address. And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Ralston from 823 Stanton Avenue in Baldwin. Current zoning does not allow gaming at the hub for good reason. The rezoning proposal is insulting to all thinking people as it is filled with nice-looking proposals which are already allowed. The new proposal adds in wording to allow for the currently disallowed idea of gaming and casinos. Some smart people zoned it specifically, prohibiting commercial gambling for good reasons. I urge you to revisit the excellent public policy paper, The Economic Unsuitability of a Casino at the Nassau County Hub, published May 2023. Based on years of thoughtful research by the Long Island Regional Economic Development Council. This paper offers many good alternatives for healthy development of the hub. Bruce Blakeman seeks a dangerous shortcut to revenues. Yet even he does not gamble. He knows better. Leading public figures in Nassau County like you can speak out now, as this commercial gambling should not be a legacy any political leader would want on their record. Can you help the residents of Nassau County put an end to this awful idea? It appears the only ones backing LV Sands or its unnamed successor have been paid $200,000 or more to force this casino upon us. Casinos and slot machines will likely go the way of tobacco companies, and host counties to any casino will ask themselves, what were we thinking? Please be a part of this positive change and keep all commercial gambling out of our peaceful and thriving county. Say No to the Casino has a growing number of supporters as we learn more about how host communities actually lose revenue when a casino moves in. We reject this rezoning request and we respectfully ask you to do the same. The social costs always outweigh any tax revenues from a casino. Crime always goes up. Property values in the area always go down. The damage done to families of problem gamblers negates any tax revenue, according to researchers like Dr. Earl Granoll's. Casino salaries are so low they actually hurt the local economy, according to economist Lucy Dadayan and others. Join the national group Stop Predatory Gambling. You will learn that every state which hosts casinos outside of Las Vegas has suffered awful social costs. Each $1 in so-called tax revenue results in $3 to $7 in social costs. This is a crisis we do not have. Why invite it? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I have Judy Courtney, and on deck, I'm going to have Vinnie Muldoon.
Thank you. Judy Courtney, Deputy Mayor, Garden City, New York. As I was thinking through what I was going to say today, the first thing that passed through my mind is, what is the point? There is a very cynical side of me, and I hate to admit that I'm speaking to a group of people who have already made up their minds, similar to the conversations we had with the Nassau County Legislature. It's very frustrating to be a resident of this town and feel that people aren't listening. So my first point is to say, for those of you who live in affected towns and represent affected towns, I can only hope that you are actually listening to resident comments today and those you have received with an open mind, but I'm not really sure that's true. That being said, I have three main points I'd like to cover. First is traffic, which we just heard a wonderful presentation from H2M, which is a great organization, which was very, very insular around traffic mitigation in the exact area of the proposed site. Let's all pretend we never have to drive on Old Country Road. Let's all pretend that it's only bad at Christmas time like it used to be. The traffic on Old Country Road, Jericho Turnpike, Stewart Avenue, etc., was barely mentioned in the traffic mitigation study. I believe what he just said about Old Country Road was that's something we have to look at. So we'll have 10, 20, 30,000 cars leaving that site all day and all night, driving right up Merrick Road onto Old Country Road, and we all know what's going to happen. So traffic mitigation has not been done at all, and that report is farcical, except for perhaps in the exact area of the build. Secondly, I'd like to talk through what the implications of the build and the size of it. I know that there's a lot of conversation about union jobs, which we all support. However, I believe whatever is built there will be built with union jobs. So this is not the only thing that would give the unions the jobs and the careers that they so well deserved. Related to that, I still really struggle with the county and our representatives from the town of Hempstead to say, what in the world have we done in the last 10 years to say what should be built there? Miraculously, a casino fell in Bruce Blakeman's lap, and all of a sudden we're all in favor of it. And my final point is to say, why now? There is no need or actually a desire on our part for our elected town of Hempstead officials to vote in favor of this right now. You don't even know who you're voting for or what you're voting for in terms of a casino license. You have no idea who might come in for that, and it is very concerning to me that we will wind up with an organization or a company that we really want nothing to do with, but you've already approved them. Thank you. That was good, right on 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. That was next. Okay. I'm going to have Karen Reardon on deck on that side. Mr. Muldoon?
Good afternoon, guys, and thanks for hearing all the public here today. It's very, very important. So I'm a contractor in the local Garden City neighborhood. Myself and Judy Courtney actually probably live as close as anybody to the site. We're on the very eastern tip of Garden City. So we see the first-hand effects of what a project of this magnitude would have to our town and to the residents all around Nassau County, not just on the edge of Garden City. Being a contractor, I'll be the first one to say, I've said this before, we want great union jobs. Majority of my friends are guys who work in the union, in the construction world. We want great union jobs. We just don't want gambling. Period. End of story. We don't want a casino in our backyard. And the majority of people that I've talked to that live anywhere around the neighborhood that's going to get really affected do not want gambling. This is what this is all about. It's about a casino. It used to be about sands. And that brings me to my next point. Again, I'm a contractor. If I went to, for instance, the Garden City Building Department said, you know what, I want a special exemption, I want a variance and zoning changed because I want to build a certain type of house in a certain part of our neighborhood. But you know what, I was going to build it, I'm not going to build it, but I'm hopeful that I talked to 4 other contractors that might build it, but I want you today to go ahead and approve that based on the fact that I'm not going to build it, but I know somebody who might build it, and I'm hopeful that they might build it, but I want you guys to go ahead and approve that. In the name of God, what would you guys say? You'd say, get out of here, for God's sake. We want to talk to somebody who's actually going to do the project, and then we'll take everything into account and what's in the best interests of people who live in Long Island. Young man talked earlier about our future, our kids. I got 5 kids, a grandchild, going to have lots more, please God. You know what? I don't want a gambling facility. I don't want any of that kind of a temptation in our neighborhood. We already have Jake's. If people want to gamble, they can go to Jake's, have a great time. If that's what they want to do, they're going to spend, I believe, almost $200 million upgrading that facility. If you really want to gamble and enjoy yourself, if that's what you want to do, it's a free country, go ahead and go over to Jake's. But we do not want a casino in our backyard in Nassau County. And it's not going to be a 5-year disruption. This is going to end up like the Big Dig in Boston. You know, that's a perfect example. 5 years will become 10 years. 10 billion will become 15 billion, and on and on and on and on. The reality is we don't want it in our backyard. And the majority of people who live around the area that's going to get really affected don't want it either. Okay, and take into account the students from Hofstra, Kellenberg, and every other young group in Nassau County that will be tempted, right? We all know what gambling is all about, okay? Suck the money out of the community, and we may have them sucked dry. Thanks very much, guys. Have a nice day. We got your money. So please, really think this through, guys. Table it. for another time until there's somebody who has a real program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muldoon. Thank you, Mr. Muldoon. I'm going to have Karen, and on deck, I'm going to have Joseph Nabat. Good afternoon. If you give your name and address for the record, please, ma'am.
Yeah, Karen Reardon, Manhasset. Good afternoon. My name is Karen Reardon. I stand before you today to urge you to vote no to rezone the hub for gambling. The Coliseum is a community asset that should reflect the aspirations of residents and not the short-term profits of a company. The rezoning proposal has not been met with support from county residents. In fact, most residents I've talked to are unaware of the hearing today, and many feel blindsided. It was only posted on your website 5 days ago. A major decision about taxpayer property should be made by the people who live here in Nassau and not people who live in Suffolk or Westchester County, and certainly not by lobbyists from a company with an American name that only have casinos in Singapore and in China. Taxpayers have the right to know who the developer is and what is the new plan and scope in advance of the hearing. It seems ludicrous to us to comment without knowing this information beforehand. The economic promise of an integrated resort sounds impressive, but this is just marketing to cover up what is at the heart of all of this, a casino. Let's be clear, no matter how many shops, hotels you add to this, its core business is still a casino. That's what drives its profits. Its economic model relies on extracting wealth from Nassau County, our family, friends, and neighbors. The stores, the hotels, etc., probably can't survive without a steady stream of gamblers. There's your integration. The jobs that it creates are low-wage, high-turnover jobs with odd hours and little room for upward mobility. They're not the kind of jobs that build long-term economic security for families, the type of economic growth that our elected officials should be looking at to develop our community. Worse, they will put local small businesses on Main Street out of business as disposable income is redirected to the casino's pockets. The temporary construction jobs from building a casino, jobs which can be had building any project, will saddle us forever with social costs that last long after the casino is finished. Addiction, crime, traffic, road repairs, DUIs, stress on emergency rooms and first responders. Heck, even our fire department will need to buy special ladders just to reach the height of some of these structures. I haven't even mentioned the stress on our sole source aquifer, which needs a separate hearing on its own. Did you know that the American Psychiatric Association has listed gambling addiction as addictive as opioids and heroin? And among the three, it has the highest suicide rate. Why then would you, our elected officials, rezone the hub for gambling when it's next to 2 colleges and a high school? For those and many other reasons, this is an awful idea. Please vote no and pursue development that strengthens our community, not weakens it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nablet. Thank you very much. Joseph, we're going to have you in a minute. On deck, I have Noah Probert. Sir, if you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Yeah, my name is Joseph Nabit, and I'm 69 Acorn Lane, Levittown, New York. So good afternoon, Town of Hempstead Board, and my fellow Long Islanders. Name is Joseph Nabit, founder and leader of the Say Yes to the Jets Civic Association. When the Sands announced their intentions to build an integrated resort at the Nassau Coliseum site, they stated they were looking for input from the local community regarding their proposal, especially with the opposition towards it. Let's see. I designed a proposal that includes everything the Sands wanted in their original plan, along with a vision that everyone from both sides of the aisle can agree upon. My proposal also works in the event the Sands doesn't get a gaming license, which seems more and more likely after they pulled out of their casino bid over a month ago. The Sands said they would find a third party to bid with them within 30 days, and so far haven't delivered. However, with the Sands being contractually obligated to develop the Nassau hub, we need a proposal that the people of Nassau County can all agree upon. There aren't any noticeable counter-proposals to the Sands' original plans, and despite the say no to the casino crowd's success, they haven't found any proposal of their own. Last year, I launched a website for my proposal and explained it in detail with the name of the proposal being Say Yes to the Jets. When the Sands pulled out of their bid, the website for my proposal blew up and has been getting a lot of signatures as of late. My proposal for the Nassau hub would have as the centerpiece a world-class, state-of-the-art, retractable/fixed-roof football stadium for the New York Jets. With Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum having a rich history in sports and entertainment, and Mitchell Field and Long Island in general having a rich aviation history, building a football stadium for the New York Jets at the Nassau Hub just makes sense. A roof stadium would make the Nassau Hub and Long Island in general a year-round destination because the roof would allow Nassau County to host major events like the Super Bowl, WrestleMania, NCAA Final Four, mega concerts, etc. It would also give the Jets something they never had, their own home. Many people are concerned about potential traffic being added to an already congested area. My proposal includes traffic solutions using recommended BRT routes discussed at the Nassau Hub Transit Initiative meeting over 2 years ago, and a new LIRR station at Mitchell Field using an upgraded Garden City Mitchell Field secondary line and potentially a full central line extension. The Say Yes to the Jets proposal includes the following: a world-class, state-of-the-art, retractable, fixed-roof football stadium for the New York Jets with an underground greenhouse for the fields and potential sportsbook, a 4- and 5-star hotel, a Nassau Veterans Memorial Park and Botanical Garden with an emphasis on plants from the Hempstead Plains, a tailgate village, 2 tailgate tower parking garages built and designed for tailgating, a pedestrian bridge, a new LIRR station at Mitchell Field and potential central line extension, and a relocation of the Jets headquarters from Florham Park, New Jersey to Farmingdale, New York. The Sands pulled out and the lighthouse failed. The Jets will come out and they shall prevail.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you as always, Joseph, and good luck with the quarterback this year. Next, I have Noah, and on deck I have Kevin O'Keefe.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Town Board. My name is North Herbert. I'm from Montauk, 1121 Johnson Avenue. And I'm here today because the future of the Nassau Hub in Uniondale is on the line, and with it, real chance to create jobs, businesses, opportunities, and transform space that works for everyone in our community. Zoning at the site has been locked over for a decade. That's years stalled plans and missed opportunities. It's not just for economic and growth and individual, but for the kind intervention of Nassau development that could serve everyone, the resident of Nassau County, regardless of age, ability, and background. But if we change the zoning, the path forward finally opens. We can bring new jobs and support small businesses and generate a much-needed tax revenue, and more importantly, we can build space with universal design in mind, where people with disabilities, seniors, parents, strollers, and so many can move freely and participate fully in all that the hub could offer. Universal design doesn't benefit people like me, but benefits everyone. It's about creating a future accessibility and built in from the start and not added or on later. We need zoning that bridges the gap and not to the development of the opportunity. Let's stop delaying the values, and let's start building a place where truly reflects the values and needs of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. I have next Kevin O'Keefe, and on deck is Lynn Crook.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Kevin O'Keefe. I'm from East Meadow, New York, an affected community. I want to talk about the ensuring of transparency and proper oversight in the Nassau Coliseum redevelopment. First of all, I do oppose any casino at the Nassau Hub and feel it should be stopped now with their withdrawal. There are plenty of alternatives to a casino that could bring economic growth and community enrichment to East Meadow and Nassau County. Given the widespread opposition to a casino at this site, you must approach any new proposal with caution. As a resident of East Meadow, I'm deeply concerned about the negative impact the potential transfer of the Nassau Coliseum casino proposal to a new vendor. It's going to have an effect on our community's character, environment, and quality of life. I urge the town of Hempstead to reject the Sands Casino proposal and prioritize projects that truly enhance Nassau County's economic and social well-being. A rushed decision without proper vetting would be a disservice to our community. In the event you do decide to take this transfer, I urge the town of Hempstead and Nassau County officials to require public hearings before approving any new vendor, allowing residents to voice concerns and ask questions about potential operators. I also ask that they mandate independent assessments of the prospective company's financial stability, ethical track record, and potential community impact. Once again, ensure full transparency in negotiations, preventing backdoor deals that bypass scrutiny. We deserve better representation. Nassau County should prioritize responsible development that benefits residents without introducing the risk associated with a gambling establishment. There are plenty of alternatives to a casino that could bring economic growth and community enrichment and jobs to East Meadow and the Nassau County. So many different choices out there. Please make the right decision. We appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to have Ms. Krug go, and then I have Luke Feeney on deck. Your name and address for the record, please.
Lynn Krug, Weidler Court, Garden City, New York. There's good reason why gambling is currently prohibited under the current zoning. So why is this board moving so fast to rezone the Nassau Hub property for gambling? I'm not surprised by the lack of public notice for these hearings, lack of transparency, and the continued push by our elected officials to force a casino on our community, despite fierce public opposition. The Hub is taxpayer-owned land, and we, the taxpayers, should have a say in its future. It's about time that this board finally puts an end to this casino proposal and does not entertain Sands' last-ditch effort to secure an agreement at the 11th hour with some mystery third party that we know nothing about. This is not the time to start negotiating anything. It's a bad deal for everybody. Casino gambling facilitates crime and really doesn't deliver the economic and employment benefits claimed by well-paid lobbyists and union bosses. A casino is a non-starter since our vision for the Hub is focused on strengthening our communities, creating high-paying jobs, and making sound local investments that will deliver for generations. In 2009, this board, under Kate Murray's leadership, presided over the demise of the Lighthouse Project, which prevented a 60-story skyscraper from being built at the site. That was 16 years ago, and people are still talking about it. I urge you to pull a Kate Murray in the style of October 2009. Delay, do not act upon, and bury any proposed project that has Sands on a casino written all over it, and do not attempt to change any zoning at the Hub until a project comes before the town that benefits rather than exploits our community. This is not a transformational project at the Hub because the environmental impacts cannot be mitigated. Changing zoning is a big deal, and the town board is supposed to protect those codes. If a change in zoning is adopted, it will be in clear violation of the State Environmental Quality Review Act because you have not considered the negative environmental impacts, failed to consider short and long-term cumulative impacts on our communities, which include community character and economic impacts on local businesses. We will hold you accountable if you approve this. Are you not aware of the pending lawsuit filed in Nassau Supreme Court that contends that the 42-year lease between Nassau and Sands should be declared void because officials failed to conduct a proper environmental review that considers the full impact of this casino development? We remain optimistic that Sands will not be successful in their quest. If we're going to be talking about you decades from now, let's make it something good. Thank you.
Very much. Thanks. Okay. I had a Luke Feeney. Okay, so Dom Valente, and on deck is Reze Denny. Dom Valente. And then on deck is Reze Denny. Great. Good afternoon. Name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Don Valenti. I'm a longtime resident of Garden City. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here this afternoon because I love this neighborhood. I love its schools, its parks, its small businesses, and the sense of safety and connection we've worked hard to build. And I'm deeply concerned, like many of you, about the plan to build a massive Las Vegas-style casino right next to where we live, work, and raise our kids. Let's talk about what's at stake. This isn't just another building. It's a high-impact, 24-hour entertainment complex with thousands of cars, constant noise, bright lights, and round-the-clock activity. And it's being proposed just steps away from homes, high schools, and college campuses. We're being told this is about economic development, but at what cost? Let's start with the environmental impact. More traffic means more air pollution, more construction means fewer trees, and more strain on our aging infrastructure, water, energy, and waste systems that are already stretched thin. What happens when all our air gets harder to breathe, when our streets are even more congested, when our parks and green spaces are overshadowed by concrete and neon? And how about the impact on local businesses? The casino's restaurants, bars, and retail spaces aren't mom and pop operations. They're corporate chains. Small family-owned businesses that have served this community for decades won't be able to compete. Then there's the social impact. High schools and colleges are right down the street. Do we really want to expose young people to gambling culture at that proximity? To the traffic, crime, and addiction issues that studies repeatedly show follow in the wake of major casino developments? This project isn't just inappropriate, it's irresponsible. Elected officials are counting on you. We are counting on you. You were chosen to represent the people in this room, not corporate developers, not outside investors. We are not against progress, we're not against growth, but we are against reckless development that sacrifices the health and safety of the very people you were elected to protect. Please listen to your constituents, hit pause on the casino. Let's work together on a plan for smart, sustainable development that actually strengthens this community instead of tearing it apart. And you're being asked to give this to you don't know whom. Please vote it down. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we got Mr. Denny, and on deck is Annette Sella. Hi.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, name and address, thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Raz Denny. I live in Uniondale. I'm here today to voice my opinion and to convey the voices of my neighbors. Being a 40-year resident and homeowner in Uniondale, I value the urban-like atmosphere of Uniondale. If I wanted to live in the city, I would have moved there. I honestly believe that if you folks go against what the majority of the local homeowners want and approve the rezoning for a gambling casino, you violate what you were elected to do. That is to serve your constituents. All of us know what negative impact a casino has on a residential community. It floods the community with slow evolution of crime, prostitution, human trafficking, drugs, chronic gambling, the nightmarish effect this casino would have on the environment and traffic would be horrendous. There has been multiple studies on what a casino does to the community, and all the reports have come back negative, if you do your reading. So I appeal to you to do your civic duty and reject the choice of rezoning. I just want you guys to do a 2-second little examination. Close your eyes. Close your eyes for 2 seconds. Now, all that I have said, think of this being in your backyard. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you very much. I got Ms. Steele over here, and I'm going to have Neil Locke on the other side. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Annette Chella. My family is 60 years in Uniondale, and we live right across the street. So this impacts me and the people who live around the Coliseum so greatly. And so many great points have been put forth to you about the impacts and the negativity of this casino. People also have to think down the line, health-wise, it's going to really be horrible for the residents around there with this impact of pollution, noise, and just the traffic. I'm a 22-year person who's been working in the Brotherhood of Teamsters. I'm also a Hofstra graduate, and I can tell you that the people from Hofstra that I am alumni, they do not want this. I mean, anybody, there's so many, the RXR Plaza, the people who go to the colleges, and just the businesses, how are they going to get to work? It's going to take them, maybe it took them 15 minutes, now it's going to take them an hour. It's just such a pollution, and I'm just hoping that when you do vote, that you think of the impact of people like me who live right there, and vote no to this big rezoning. It's like putting a big square in a small circle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have Ms. Locke, and on deck, I'm going to have Ed Tedia. Good afternoon. Name and address. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the town of Hempstead for taking up this issue. At EAC Network, we serve thousands of Long Islanders every year. Vulnerable children, isolated seniors, individuals facing crisis, and families struggling to get by. We are deeply invested in what happens to this community because it directly affects the people we serve. For decades, the Coliseum property has been surrounded by promise, but stifled by policy. 72 acres of prime land in the heart of Nassau remain underutilized, not because people lack ideas, but because the zoning is stuck in another era. That needs to change, not for any developer and not for any one vision, but for the sake of creating real options. We need zoning that allows the town and county to engage in strong, responsible partners who want to invest in this community and support the people who call it home. EAC Network sees every day the difference that meaningful opportunity makes. When communities have access to jobs, services, and safe, vibrant spaces, outcomes improve. Families stabilize, children thrive, and seniors stay connected and supported. But none of that happens in a vacuum. We need public and private leaders willing to show up, step in, and stay engaged. And we need land use policies that make that possible. This site could be more than just a piece of real estate. It could be a point of pride, a place where people gather, work, celebrate, and build. That's the kind of development we want to see, and thoughtful, inclusive, and designed with long-term impact in mind. To bring in the right partners, the ones who care about the community, who hire locally, and who give back, we need to show that we are serious about planning for the future. That starts with zoning that reflects a modern vision, not outdated restrictions. Uniondale and its neighbors have waited long enough. A new zoning framework won't solve every challenge, but opens the door to real solutions and to the resources we need to keep serving those who rely on us most. And I would just say my name is Neela Lockel, and I'm the president and CEO of EAC Network, and our address is 99 Quentin Roosevelt Boulevard, right here in Garden City. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Ed, and on deck, I'm going to have Jerry Kornbluth over there. Good afternoon, sir. If you give your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and Town Board. My name is Ed Tedler. My address is 2123 5th Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. I am the business agent for Plumbers Local 200. I represent over 1,000 hardworking men and women of Plumbers Local 200. Myself and my membership is 100% in favor of the proposed zoning change and redevelopment of the land of the Nassau Hub, creating good-paying union jobs, also creating good-paying full-time jobs when the project is complete. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerry, I have you over here, and then I have on the other side, Rachel Lugo on deck. If you give me your name and address there, thank you.
Good afternoon, Town Board and Supervisor Don Clavin. I want to thank you very much for holding this very important meeting today. My name is Jerry Kornbluth, and I'm the Vice President for Community and Governmental Relations and spokesperson for Nassau Community College. And I'm here today in support of this project, speaking on behalf of Nassau Community College. Okay. As someone who works just across the street at Nassau Community College, I see every day what this site could mean for our students, their families, and the wider community, if only we let it. The site has sat underutilized for nearly 30 years, not because it lacks potential, but because it has been shackled by outdated, overly restrictive zoning that was designed decades ago to block progress, not enable it. Let's be honest, that kind of zoning wasn't about smart planning, it was about politics, and we're still paying the price today. We're not asking to skip environmental reviews or ignore public input. We're asking for the chance to even have that conversation. Right now, the zoning does not even allow us to dream big. This is 72 acres in the heart of Nassau County, surrounding by major roads, public transit, an academic hub, and a community ready to thrive. There are good people working on this site today, and they're part of the foundation that we built on. But there are too few opportunities for others. We all know the scale and potential of this land can offer, and so much more. More of Nassau's students deserve access to careers with growth, stability, and a future. And right now, that future is still out of reach. This isn't just about economic development. It's about whether the town of Hempstead is willing to make room for growth that reflects today's realities, not yesterday's politics. The current zoning doesn't reflect the needs of our community, and certainly not the future we're trying to build for our students. We need zoning that allows this site to become what it can be, a hub for jobs, for innovation, for education, for families. We talk a lot about keeping young people on Long Island. Here's a chance to prove we mean it. Give them a reason to stay. Create the kinds of opportunities that make our students proud to build their futures here, not elsewhere. We've waited long enough. Let's finally create a zoning framework.
I have to cut you short. I got to keep it tight, but you could submit the rest of that in writing. We will take it. I have Ms. Lugo over here. Mr. Malhamp, okay. Mr. Malhamp, you've indicated you do not want to speak. Is that accurate? Okay, then I'm going to ask Dan Lloyd if you'll go to the other side. Hi, if you give your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor, for having me here, and thank you, Board. My name is Rachel Lugo. My address 175 Fulton Avenue, Hempstead, New York. I have been a proud resident of Long Island for 54 years. For well over 29 of those years, many of you know me for my work in injury prevention, child passenger safety, giving out jackets, as well as my vocational services. I've worked with EAC Network, which is a diverse and impactful social service agency. I oversee all of the family support and vocational service programs, assisting clients throughout Nassau and Suffolk counties. I am speaking in strong support of the proposed zoning requests. Approving these requests is more than a policy decision. It is a commitment to create jobs, develop business, and part of the transformational project that will uplift this entire community in Nassau County. These new employment opportunities will benefit our unemployed, our working class, our justice-involved individuals, and as well as people with disabilities. I see every day the challenges faced by those working 2 or 3 jobs just to support their families and put food on the table, as well as taking 2 or 3 different modes of transportation to get to work. This is our chance to ease that burden by investing in meaningful, accessible training and employment opportunities. I'm going to ask, as you are sitting there and in front of me and around this room, why wouldn't we support the growth of this Nassau County community? Many of you have said since 2009, proposals have been have not been approved. Well, now is a chance to make that difference, and now is a chance, instead of waiting 15 years, we need to do something that's impactful. Local government has the power to be a catalyst for change. That support must begin now at this crucial decision point. Beyond policy, let's remember that building a stronger community also means spreading positivity, being generous, and looking out for one another, helping our children of tomorrow. Together, we can create a brighter future for everyone. I believe there is hope for the Hub. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Mr. Lloyd over here, and I have Pearl Jacobs on deck.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Give your name
Dan
and
Lloyd,
address. Thank you.
629 Broadway, Amityville, New York, and I am representing minority millennials. And before the deputy supervisor walks out, I just want to say it's always a blessing to see her, and thank you to the town supervisor and board for the opportunity to speak. As I mentioned, I'm the founder of Minority Millennials, an organization that has been committed to helping young people from across Long Island, including hundreds from Nassau County, access jobs, build wealth, to become civically engaged. Since 2017, we've worked to ensure the next generation has a future right here at home. We are here today because the 72 acres surrounding the Nassau Coliseum represents the single most valuable underdeveloped economic asset in our region, and we cannot afford to let this moment pass us by. Right now, this site remains underutilized, not because there's no interest, but because outdated zoning continues to hold it back. Zoning rooted in decisions made 2 decades ago, disconnected from the energy, innovation, and the needs of today. This conversation isn't just about any one project. It's about creating a vibrant, inclusive hub that allows young professionals, millennials, young families, Gen Z, and the future generation who are too often priced out and forced to leave Long Island to live, work, and play in a place that feels like home, that feels like the Long Island that we all remember. It's about building spaces where culture thrives, businesses grow, and the community gathers. We are also very mindful of the long-term sustainability of this project. As an organization rooted in their future, we understand the importance of protecting our environment, our infrastructure, and the water resources. That is why we were in full support of the DEIS report and its thorough review process, of one of which was the most thoroughly reviewed in history of Nassau County. We believe in growth and environmental responsibility are not mutually exclusive, but that they go hand in hand. Smart zoning reform can unlock the full potential of this land, opening the door to union careers, business opportunities, hospitality, and entertainment venues, and public spaces that reflect the diversity and dynamism of Nassau County. We owe it to this generation and the next to be bold, so that 20 years from now, our children, my daughter that's 5 and my son that is 3, won't be here asking for a change. They'll be here because of it. And that they'll be thanking you all for the courage to say yes when it mattered most. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. I have on deck, hold on, Mr. Andrew Adeja? You're going to be on deck. I hope I said it right. All right. Ms. Jacobs, name and address. Thanks.
President of Nostrand Garden Civic Association in Uniondale, member of Say No to the Casino Civic Association. I would like to state that the SANS DEIS report was insufficient in its efforts to identify viable solutions concerning identified environmental concerns as it pertains to development at the Nassau Hub. Additionally, it is my opinion that the report demonstrated insensitivity when identifying the reasons for high asthma rates among youth that reside in New York State DEC identified disadvantaged communities. Following on New York State's Department of Health's updated asthma rates for youth 0 to 17, you can look at here. New York State deems any rate above 42.7 to be of high concern. New York State, excluding New York City asthma rate, is 39. Nassau County's asthma rate is 31. Hempstead's asthma rate is 75.7. Roosevelt's asthma rate is 72.8. And Uniondale's asthma rate is 62.7. Asthma rates in Nassau County's disadvantaged communities, unfortunately, has increased over the past 2 years. I will reference an article from Town News posted on February 19th of this year, standing below a seamlessly endless stream of airplanes traveling over a Floral Park residential community. Hempstead Town Supervisor Don Clavin and North Hempstead Town Supervisor Jen DeSena announced the filing of a joint federal lawsuit against the FAA on behalf of more than 1 million residents living near airports who are subjected to low-flying aircraft, deafening engine noise, and hazardous air pollution. The legal action comes after the FAA failed to respond to the municipality's joint petition and has been officially filed prior to today's announcement. Not only are our communities being victimized by increased flights, noise, and air pollution, but the FAA didn't even have the courtesy to respond to the concerns of more than 1 million residents who live here, said Supervisor Clavin. Enough is enough. The town of Hempstead and town of North Hempstead are fed up with the FAA's apparent indifference to our community's quality of life and public health, and this federal lawsuit would force them to be responsive and accountable to our residents. As mentioned in the lawsuit, a 2022 Government Accountability Office report indicated that there was inadequate community engagement and insufficient environmental impact assessments before implementing changes. The EPA reports that aircraft traveling lower than 3,000 feet can cause air pollution. Studies have shown that communities in and around this flight plan, including Valley Stream, Hempstead, Inwood, and West Hempstead, have a higher than normal rate of asthma, stomach cancer, and prostate cancer, all linked to exposure to aircraft emissions. The FAA has a responsibility to be fair to area residents, said Clavin. I will continue to hold them accountable until they right their wrongs and commit to exploring fair alternative flight plans with local residents at the forefront. Supervisor Clavin, you stated that the FAA has a responsibility to be fair to area residents. Well, so does the
Okay,
town of
thank you, Ms. Jacobs. You can supplement it, of course, in writing. You've been here many times. Andrew, and I hope I got your last name right. And on deck, I'm going to have Chris Jacobs. Chris, I see you back there. So Andrew, your name and address. Thank you.
Andrew Iodigi, 24 Ira Court.
I did pretty good on that.
You did good. I told you.
Not too bad.
You did good. Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Iodigi. I'm the founder of the MAC Academy. That's an acronym for Making Athletes Career Knowledgeable. Through the MAC Academy, we use sports as a vehicle to mentor young people, help them build career pathways, and keep them safe from violence. Every year, we work with hundreds of students across Nassau County, especially in the Uniondale, Hempstead, Westbury, and Freeport area. A lot of our kids dream of making it to the pros, but the truth is most don't. And when they come home, they're often met with limited options and local economies that don't have space for their talent. That's why this moment matters. The 72 acres at Nassau Coliseum can no longer sit underused. This is prime land in the center of our county, and it should be a hub of opportunity. We need development that brings in year-round jobs and local career pipelines and public spaces that speak to the energy and the culture of the surrounding communities. This land needs to be shovel-ready, zoned for growth, positioned to support the economic future of our region, not just in theory, but in practice. Let's build something that ensures our youth don't have to leave home to make it.
Thank you. I have Mr. Jacobs and I have Bob Rosie on deck. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Chris Jacobs, Uniondale, New York. Regarding the town of Hempstead rezoning the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum site to designate it as the Mitchellfield Integrated Resort District, MFRD for short, I find this action to be surreptitious and deceitful. First and foremost, why were there no public town hall meetings held by any of the town of Hempstead council members within their respective districts to inform and answer questions from residents that would arise from this proposal? According to the town of Hempstead's resolution of May 13th, the town board has created the MFRD to facilitate redevelopment at the Coliseum site due to the Coliseum's underutilization. The resolution states ad nauseum about harmonious development complementing surrounding communities, encouraging tourism. One way they tout repetitively in the resolution is by encouraging development of gaming facilities, also known as casinos. Casinos typically operate 25 hours a day, 7 days a week, and encourage people to linger about, often resulting in nefarious activities occurring inside and outside the casino. Let me ask the town board about the experiences the town of Hempstead has had with establishments that were open 25 hours a day, 7 days a week, which were known for people lingering about. Does the town of Hempstead remember the Courtesy Hotel, the Capri Motor Inn, or the Coliseum Inn? Why would the town of Hempstead want to rezone something that will bring about the same problem that has plagued the town throughout the past? As for tourism, the Nassau Coliseum site is located in a transit desert. All access to the Coliseum site has to be done by vehicles utilizing Nassau County's inadequate, outdated, overburdened, and gridlock road network. The county's infamous gridlock has led to substantially higher air pollution, particularly in communities the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has identified as disadvantaged due to their higher asthma rates primarily caused by vehicular emissions. Regarding the DEI support and FEI support, I find that to be dismissive and it has no clear mitigation for traffic. All they said on the report is that they'll widen the Meadowbrook in certain sectors, but they take no into account that the Southern State also exists. The Meadowbrook is completely gridlocked all the way from the North State Parkway all the way down to Sun State Parkway. Regarding Hempstead Turnpike, it ranks every year's top 10 deadliest roads in New York State. And Uniondale Avenue, when they talk about the streetscaping, we don't need lights. We need a mitigation strategy. How does adding street lights reduce my gridlock traffic I take every day? Also, finally, the question I asked at the county, and I'll ask the same thing here: how does adding traffic reduce our gridlock crisis in Nassau County and mitigate our asthma rates, especially in our disadvantaged community? And one last thing: when they talked about shuttle buses to and from the Hempstead Long Island Railroad station being the only option available, how would that help them with their 75.7% high county high asthma rate? Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Bob, Bob, who is it? Bob, I got you here, and Elaine Masushi, you're on deck. Yep. And name and address, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Rose, 28 Grove, Garden City. It seems to me that there are a number of our elected officials that are hell-bent on giving the casino industry a foothold in Nassau County. The issue is whether the casino is or is not warranted and whether it is beneficial to local communities involved. Let me try to explain my reason why the passage of the change in zoning is not the best interest for the residents. In the past, casinos were allowed in Atlantic City back in 1997. While advocates promised that gambling would revive the town's fading economy, the casinos did create jobs as promised, temporary construction jobs, along with low-paying service positions. Well, while the merchants in the area were sorely disappointed with the outcome. The money that comes to the casinos stays in the casinos. The only thriving business in the area were liquor stores, cash for gold outlets, and pawn shops that took over the city's once primary retail shopping area. The impact of the casinos on local property values, according to the National Association of Realtors, was clearly negative. Casinos did not revive local economies, but acted as parasites on them. They reported that local communities around the area had a high rate in problem gambling. Not surprisingly, these communities also suffered high rates of home foreclosures, unemployment, and other forms of economic distress, along with an increase in domestic violence. Are we really looking forward to this? Just say no to the casino.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, thank you, Bob. And I have Ms. McFeely here, and on deck I have Jerome Bose. Ms. McFeely? Maureen McFeely going once? Do you want to speak? No, he's signed in separately. Did you want to speak, Ms. Feely? Okay. Jerome, if you'll come to the back, and Mr. McFeely, if you go to that mic over there.
Good afternoon, Supervisor Cleveland, members of the town board. My name is Jerome Boss. I'm the Director of External Affairs for IBW Local 1049. I'm here on behalf of our business manager, Pat Cadiz, and the 4,000 hardworking men and women of labor on 1049 who maintain the natural gas infrastructure as well as the grid. We support a zone change to create development at the Nassau hub because it means good paying union jobs, real opportunities for our communities and their families, and long-term growth for our communities. The vision for the hub matters now more than ever. We can't afford to let the opportunity slip away. IBW 1049 is a proud affiliate of the Long Island Federation of Labor, which has played a major role in leading the charge. This is for a future that delivers jobs, revenue, and a better Long Island. Some of our members' kids could work in hospitality, entertainment, or the trades if this moves forward. That's real impact. We urge you to support opportunity zoning. It's a step toward progress, fairness, and jobs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Mr. McFeely, and on deck I have Sydney Lagello. Mr. McFeely, if you give your
John
name and address.
McFeely, a resident of Garden City, a 50-year resident of Garden City. I'm not such an old curmudgeon that I don't recognize the fact that change is necessary. But when I look back at what was and think about what this project will turn the present into, it's frightening. Because of the need to get involved in public activities, I decided that I should try and get involved in this process about the casino. I came to one of the first meetings of the town board, and I was told that if I wanted to speak, I'd have to wait until the official business was over, and then the community participation portion of the meeting will open. I sat through 2 hours of official business, and then Mr. Clavin actually announced that the community participation segment of the meeting was open, and then he got up and left the room. Not a good beginning to establish cooperation with your constituents. I continued to be involved, spoke at several meetings, listened at others, the same arguments made again and again. Most of them were made today. There's no reason to get into all that again. But one thing stuck in my mind. We kept making the same arguments, and our audience continued to show an expression that was, to put it politely, less than accepting. I have concluded that we're not really getting very far with this process. Maybe it's time to possibly try a new approach. The governor's rules establish that there must be 10 people appointed to community acceptance agreement committees. 5 in Albany, 5 in Nassau. Particularly the Albany 5 people may provide a way for us to get an audience that's more accepting of what we're saying. We don't have those names. And to me, it puts us in a position where our current situation can best be described by 2 words: who and who. As our mayor and...
Okay, thank you, Mr. McFeely. You can supplement anything within writing. It will definitely be part of the record. I have Sydney, I know you're ready, and on this side, I'm going to have Mary Quinn on deck.
Thank you for holding this meeting today. I'm Sydney Laquillo. My address is 14 Fraser Street, Hempstead, and I'm here on behalf of Haugland Group as their Government and Community Affairs Coordinator. The Nassau Coliseum site is one of the most valuable undeveloped properties, not just in Nassau County, but in all of New York State. At 72 acres, it holds the potential to spark real economic opportunity, generate good-paying jobs, and create a vibrant, year-round destination that serves both local families and visitors from across the region. Right now, that potential is sitting idle, not because people don't see the value, but because of outdated zoning that is standing in the way of real progress. This isn't about one developer or a single project. It's about unlocking the flexibility to finally give the site a future. The current zoning reflects political compromises of the past, but not the real needs and the possibilities of the present. We owe it to Uniondale and the broader Nassau community to think bigger and move forward with smart, forward-looking zoning that makes real opportunities possible. At Haugland Group, we're builders. It's an infrastructure construction company, and whether it's roads, energy infrastructure, or community partnerships, we know how to take an idea and make it real. As our CEO, Billy Haugland, always says, the key to Long Island's future is simple: build. Build capacity for communities and commerce to thrive. That's why we're invested in seeing the Coliseum site become something more than just an empty lot. we see a chance to bring back vibrancy to the heart of the county, to create a place where Long Islanders don't just pass by, but actually gather at, celebrate in, and benefit from. With the right zoning in place, we can stop watching Long Island dollars flow into the city or out of state. We can create a reason for people to stay local for their entertainment, their weekends, and their families. A thoughtful, developed resort and entertainment district with a hotel, live venues, and community spaces could help reshape what is possible for the region. Let's stop letting the land fester in uncertainty and start treating it like the community asset it truly is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I had reached out and called Mary Quinn. No Mary Quinn? Okay. Next, I'm going to call up Matt Fisher, and on deck is Candace Holly. Matt Fisher? Okay. Candace Holly? Candace?
That's Matt.
Oh, hold on. Matt's going to go first, and then Ms. Holly, you're after that, okay?
Good afternoon, Matt Fisher, 41 Nassau Street, Old Harbor Green, Massapequa. I'm a longtime leader in Long Island hospitality and the hospitality market. I've worked at the hotel, the hospitality in Long Island for about 25 years. I know this site very well. I'm the director of sales and marketing at the Long Island Marriott. Nassau Coliseum and the land surrounding it are in desperate need of an upgrade, and the utilities there are antiquated at best. We have problems all the time, and it's very impactful to our business. What I also know is there are very few places on Long Island with this kind of potential. The 72 acres in the heart of Nassau County, minutes from major highways, near the beach, close to airports in the city. It's a rare opportunity, and right now we're wasting it. From a hospitality and tourism standpoint, this is exactly the kind of location that should be a destination. A thoughtfully developed hotel and entertainment district would not only draw visitors from around the region, it would keep Long Islanders here, spending money locally, enjoying high-quality amenities, and creating lasting memories. Our industry has weathered many challenges over the past few years, from the pandemic to inflation, but we are seeing renewed interest and demand. People want experiences. They want vibrant places to stay, dine, relax, and enjoy culture. This site could deliver all of that, but not with the zoning that reflects a vision from decades ago. Updating the zoning is the first and most essential step. It doesn't tie us to one development plan. It simply gives us the chance to compete, the chance to attract the kind of projects that create jobs, drive tourism, and bring long-term value to Nassau County. I've been part of the hotel developments across this region, and I can tell you investors, planners, and operators all look for one thing: clear, forward-thinking policy. Without that, the site continues to sit idle. With it, we open the door to something truly transformative. Let's stop letting this land be a symbol of missed opportunities, and let's update the zoning and start building something Long Islanders can be proud of. Thank you.
I have Ms. Holly, and then I'm going to have Yvonne Verano. Good afternoon, Ms. Holly.
Good afternoon. My name is Candace Aguirre Holly. I live here in Hempstead, and I'm here today to strongly support the rezoning of the hub as a vital step towards unlocking real economic opportunities for Nassau County. This is more than just a zoning decision. It's a chance to spark meaningful change across our county. The hub has the potential to become a powerful engine for job creation, workforce development, and local entrepreneurship. We're talking about long-term sustainable opportunities that will benefit residents, small businesses, and future generations throughout Nassau. By investing in the space, we can attract businesses that hire locally, create career pathway for our youth, and energize the county's economy. This is about the empowering of our people with the resources that they need to succeed, not just today, but well into the future. Let's not let this opportunity pass by us. Let's take a bold action together and rezone the hub to build a stronger, more resilient Nassau County for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holly. Ivani Verano? Great. And then Louis Vasquez, I have you on deck. She had to go? Okay. Mr. Vasquez, and I'll go with you. And then I have on deck Terrell Huddleston.
How are you? Louis Vasquez, 14 Sunset Avenue, Glen Cove, New York. Our offices are in Westbury. On behalf of the Long Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we're here in support to be able to give the permit and go forward with the Casans and Casino. One of the things that I always tell the story, my story is when they started this project, I was pretty much not knowing and I wasn't really in favor of it. But once I got educated in sense of what it is all about and the economic for the Latino community and our members, and then the way the corporate came in and explained to us what it was all about the economy and including us, we were never really included in any projects as people, whether it was county, state, or whatever it was. And they came in, this corporation came in with their staff and they explained to us. And I said, well, let me speak to my constituency. Let me speak to my members. So I had a meeting with about 50 leaders throughout clergy and Hispanic organizations. And we sat down and I said, let me see what they think so that we can feel. One of the things that we have sensitive about was the gambling. And we felt that it was something that's going to really hit the community. But after we were educated, after we were explained what it was all about and the opportunities for the Latino community and the businesses and the services, we were able to. We had clergy there, so, and I know that was going to be a tough one, but even them, but after the meeting, we were all pretty much gratified to the answers that we got. So on behalf of my members, on behalf of Nassau County, Long Island, I think it's a great project to go forward, give the zoning to the approval so that we can continue to go to the next level and being able to see the fruits of this labor. And I know that people speak about the unions, and then they say, we know unions, but you're against it. We know that's from, but you're against it. You're either in or you're out. And I know some of the residents are concerned, but the bottom line is, can I bring food to the table? Am I able to bring food to the table? Am I able to sustain my family? Am I able to be a regular citizen with our community? And that's what it's all about. It's about passion, being able to see, I already have something, I'm already comfortable. It's not about being comfortable. It's about helping others. And this resort and this casino, whether it's a casino, is only probably about 10 or 15% of it. The rest is a resort. And that's what I tell my, it's a resort, it's jobs, opportunities. I'm feeding my family, I'm feeling good about myself, I'm getting from one level to the other. So in that vein, I support this project and I thank the board, supervisor, all of you to see the vision and see ahead of what has not been happening, but what's gonna happen. Thank you and God bless you. Gracias.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Terrell Huddleston, and on deck I have Lisa Tyson.
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Terrell Huddleston. I've had the honor of serving as Job Development Coordinator for ABBA Leadership Center, organization founded and led by my father, Elder Reginald Benjamin, for nearly 2 decades. Tonight I stand before you on his behalf and with the same heart for community, faith, and purpose. Faith teaches us not to bury our talents, and yet for too long, one of our most valuable community resources, the Coliseum land, has been left idle. That's not progress, that's missed opportunity. The conversation isn't just about zoning or development, it's about vision, it's about whether we're willing to create space for jobs, for youth, for entrepreneurs, for families, and for growth. A thoughtful mixed-use development featuring hotels, entertainment, and safe, welcoming spaces has the potential to bring real life back to this area. At ABBA, we work with people every day who are looking for opportunity, for hope, and for a path forward. We need to match their determination and bold decisions. This land deserves to serve the people, for not remain stuck in the past. Let's rezone with clarity, compassion, and commitment. Let's build a future for Nassau that honors both vision and values. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Tyson, and on deck I have Sequoia Weber.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Tyson. I'm a longtime activist in Nassau County, nonprofit leader, and now a small business owner. For many years, I worked on trying to get the lighthouse development developed, sat in this room, spoke to a different board, spoke about the jobs at the lighthouse, and there was a great opportunity. We would be driving past that right now instead of like this huge empty space. I've always lived in Belmore, North Belmore, Merrick. My family lives all around it, and we all do support it. Because at the end of the day, it's just like this missing piece of our county. But we have to do it right, and that's what this whole process is about. This land has enormous potential, but right now it's stuck. Outdated zoning is holding us back from doing something transformative, something that could bring real benefits to families, to workers, to small businesses, and to our planet. That doesn't mean we rush. It means we plan wisely. We push for high environmental standards. We insist on union labor and fair wages. We make sure community voices are at the table, not after the fact, but from the beginning. And we hold any developer to the highest standard because Nassau deserves nothing but less. We can dream big and demand accountability. We can grow our economy and protect our values. This is a chance to show that progress and justice can and do go hand in hand. So let's get the zoning part right, move the process forward, and let's have integrity, transparency with the vision that lifts everyone's boats up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sequoia, and on deck, I have Ryan Stanton.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to say no to the casino.
If you just give us your name and address for the record, thank you.
Apologize. Sequoia Weber Truitt. I live in East Meadow, New York. So I am saying no to the casino, and that is the reason why. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why. As we probably heard a lot, traffic is a main concern. I live very close to the casino, and I always do see police officers pulling people over for maybe traffic violations or car accidents. I see a lot. And so that's one of my concerns is the traffic and how children, there's high school, there's 2 colleges there, there's even a medical facility there, how all those residents is going to make sure they're safe on the road, and also the police officers and the ambulance, how they're going to be safe, because if anything happens, they're going to be the ones first responding to these situations. Secondly, I know a lot of people in the year 2025, they will have smartphones, little computers in their pockets. So there's no denial that if you look up casinos and you look up human trafficking is a big deal with casinos. If you look these things up, sometimes human traffickers take their victims inside these casinos, maybe for money laundering or for other crimes. So why would we want human trafficking if that's something that could happen here? I think that should be something that we should consider and think about in the long term instead of short term, always with our wallets. I want to mention human trafficking. Why I'm mentioning it is because I thought we lived in a country that we didn't like human trafficking. Human trafficking is what? Slavery. So I want everyone to consider, if anyone has children or who doesn't have children, how would you think if you came home one day and you heard on the news one of your loved ones was caught in these horrible situations of human trafficking? How would you feel if one of your neighbors were actually involved in it? There's a casino in the state of Connecticut, Mohegan Sun, and I remember I was going there years ago with my grandparents. Used to take me out over there, and it was horrible for me to hear actually that about several years back, and it doesn't matter the time at all, that there was an actual human trafficker caught. The police caught him and everything, but it was a long time to catch this person. He had many victims. So I don't want any victims. I don't want any problems. I think we should reconsider having a casino. I think we should have something else instead of a casino. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have Ryan Stanton going right now, and then I have Hanif Russell on deck. Good afternoon. Name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Ryan Stanton, Long Island Federation of Labor, Hauppauge, New York. I can't help but think about, even just the last speaker, some of the points that were made. We in this room, I don't think there's a person in here that would disagree that human trafficking is a tragedy. I think we would all agree. Pearl mentioned the exceedingly high asthma rates in the communities of Hempstead, Roosevelt, and Uniondale. These are real challenges of the people that call Long Island and call this place home. And they're unfolding as we sit here today. They're unfolding as we do nothing with the Nassau Hub site. On Long Island, we have a handful of things that we hold sacred. I think a lot of us are frustrated and feel like we have a high cost of living area. And the challenges of paying for good public services are ones that we all confront on a daily basis. We all believe in local control, I believe, right? And so this board, I don't take lightly the responsibility that you have in front of you, and I certainly don't envy it. You have the opportunity to consider a zoning change that does not guarantee a development. It does not guarantee human trafficking. It doesn't guarantee increased asthma rates, but it does represent the potential to do something about those challenges. If this site is developed, there are a few things that it does guarantee. The New York State gaming law guarantees by law a project labor agreement. And we know we're talking about an investment on the scale of billions of dollars at this site. That's tens of thousands of jobs, and not just any job, but union jobs. And for those who are not familiar with the union movement, there are a few basic things that we hold near and dear that are unique to us, right? Good wages, good benefits, and to go home safe. And I say unique because every worker should have it, but workers have that because of the union movement, and that's not guaranteed. That's a thing I think people take for granted. And we make a living every day fighting to make sure that that is a thing people can take for granted, but it's not. One other thing we know guaranteed in law is that a labor peace agreement will govern anybody who's awarded a gaming license, right? And again, there's no guarantees this applicant will be awarded a gaming license. What we know is that with a zone change, someone might be able to pursue one. And if they are awarded one, those jobs are very likely to be union jobs because a labor peace agreement will guarantee that those workers will not have their rights infringed or the applicant will lose their license. And finally, we know the law guarantees recurring revenue streams for the host communities, and that's the town of Hempstead and the county of Nassau. We are all faced with a very high cost of living here, but for that we get good services, we get good public servants who are committed to public service. So I ask you, please consider these things.
Thank you, Ms. Stanton. I have Mr. Russell here, and then on deck I'm going to have Kalopi Kurungunis. Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Give me name and address. Thanks.
All right. There you go. Councilwoman Goolsby, thank you. Supervisor, thank you. I represent Caribbean Business Connections. We represent hundreds of Caribbean business owners here in Nassau County, thousands of residents, and in particular in Uniondale, we see this opportunity for jobs to be created. We see an opportunity for businesses to take care of their families. And we have taken the time to appreciate what has been done through the Sands Group. When we sat with them, they took the time to share what they are doing for communities. They've been extremely resourceful and helpful. And I think it's important to state that because many people come in to take care of their own and look out for their own initiatives and their own goals. But when you listen and you learn, you get educated. And that was important for myself and our organization. And so we are grateful for that. When we drive past what used to be this great Coliseum where we had a lot of sporting, among other things, but we haven't seen that in so long. We haven't seen any real activity. It just sits dormant. But as residents, as business owners, we could be doing so much more. We could get so much more out of a community that we have to drive past and live in. And so the hope is that you all will see the benefit in doing more for what could be done for us as a community. I'll put it that way. I'll leave it up to you because I know you have a tough decision to make. But when you think of the needs of the community, of the residents, what we pay in taxes, our businesses that need the support, you all are the decision makers. And so we know that it hasn't been easy. You've done a lot, and I took the time to start with mentioning the names that myself and our community is aware of because of what you have done in the past for us. And so, again, this is yet another opportunity to make a decision that is in the best interest of the people of Nassau County. Thank you very much.
Wait. You didn't give your name and address for the record.
Hanif Russell, Belmore, New York.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Russell. I had called Kalipi Kurungunis but she did not respond. So I'm going to call Mateo Flores and on deck Tina Shefford. Mateo? Tina? Oh, how you doing? Tina's here, so why don't we call up Rodney Felder on deck? Good afternoon. Name and address for the record. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Town Hall. My name is Tina Shuford, and I'm at 100 Terrace Avenue in Hempstead. And I would like for you to consider the zoning because we went to do a hard job as a community leaders in working with Sands, who educates us, not just there to get a casino license. So if you understand what we done and how we took to do it, it's not just going in the area to gamble. It's worth a whole lot for our community. And it's not just about jobs. What about the education that we have put out there for the people in our community, especially training? If they don't have no jobs, they get training for electrical, they get training for construction, they get training for plumbing. Do they know that? Well, I know that, and I would appreciate that you consider that, especially I don't have to worry about it at 100 Terrace Avenue with Peter Flory not rezoning it and they out there gambling in front of my building that I can't walk in. I say yes, and I appreciate if you would say yes as well.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to call it the last three names. Well, Rodney Felder was really the last name I had signed in. Is there anybody that wishes to be heard that did not sign in? If you do, if you come to the back mic and give your name and address. Hi, good afternoon. Name and address. Thank you.
I did sign in, but I guess I wasn't on the list anyway. My name is Pat McGovern. I grew up in Hempstead. I went to school in Uniondale, and I live in East Meadow. I would like that, with all due respect to the unions, I believe they wouldn't mind if they were building something other than a casino, like medium income housing or anything else. I think they would just like to build something. Those jobs, though, the construction jobs, as everyone knows, is temporary. The full-time jobs would be service jobs, and I wonder where the low-wage service workers would live. And I can guess it would be in illegal accessory apartments, which are rampant all through East Meadow. But that's really for another conversation. I understand there was an environmental impact study that was 28,000 pages long. I would like to know who read that survey. Just by my calculations, turning 28,000 pages takes over 7 hours. And why would the town of Hempstead ask me and my neighbors to conserve water and only water our outside lawn, our 60 by 100 plots, yet you're going to have this huge facility here using all this other water? I also wonder, I hear about widening the Meadowbrook Parkway, and that would take away 3 historic bridges that help make, those stone bridges that make Long Island unique. I would like to know if, why there wasn't a social impact study done, which was really what we could use. As it's well known that many young people are doing online gambling. To plop a casino right between 2 colleges and a high school is ridiculous. There should also be a financial impact study on the local businesses. I don't know what's making people think that they're going to get overflow from a casino when it's self-contained. The only business that might survive is if someone takes over the 2 empty banks on Hempstead Turnpike and turns them into pawn shops. There's also been word of $6 to $7 billion being spent. It's obvious that anyone who spends $6 to $7 billion would want to make back that $6 to $7 billion plus hefty profits, and that'll be out of the pockets of Long Islanders. Now you're talking about another casino company taking over. How can the county have time to vet this mysterious casino?
All right. Thank you, Ms. McGovern. You can, of course, supplement any questions or comments. I mean, part of the record. I don't have any other slips that have signed in for this afternoon's hearing. Does anybody else wish to be heard? Okay. As we indicated earlier, Mr. Baker, we're going to have a motion in a little bit. I'm going to ask you, to, of course, to come back this evening, as well as your team. So at this time, can I have a motion to continue this public hearing at 7 p.m. this evening?
Yes, I move that we continue the public hearing at 7 this evening.
Okay. Yes. Aye.
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 Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, just so anybody knows, that'll be a continuation this evening at 7 p.m. Anybody that wishes to testify that did not do so prior will have the opportunity, and we look to seeing everybody this evening. Thank you all very, very much.